Good evening, everyone. Welcome to an exciting night, Tuesday night of Bible basketball. And all this month, we've been celebrating Women's History Month. So, in honor of Women's History Month, we are playing in the WNBA this month. So, we look for an exciting night as we play in the WNBA. And if anybody of you ever watched the WNBA, they like to shoot that long ball. They like to shoot them 3 pointers. So come on in and let's have an exciting night tonight in the WNBA. Come on out and get with us. All right. So we're going to give a few minutes for these ladies and men to come on out here on the court, come on out of the locker room. The crowd is all excited and ready to get started. So come on out of that locker room. The crowd is ready for you. Good evening to Ebony. God bless you, Ebony. Welcome to the WNBA. And good evening to my cousin Shirley. God bless you, cousin Shirley. Welcome to the WNBA. Welcome. Come on in. Get prepared for an exciting night as we play in the WNBA in celebration of Women's History Month. Women doing great things, playing great ball, shooting some hoop. Women doing great things in our world. Good evening, Bishop. God bless you, Bishop Granberry. Good to see you tonight. Welcome to the WNBA. I'm doing fine. You know that, me and you just got through talking, my brother. God bless you. All right, I'm doing fine, Bishop. No harm done. Come on, let's get started with this WNBA. We're gonna give another minute and give our players to come on another minute to come on out of that locker room. Give them another minute to come on out of that locker room, and then we're gonna get started in our gameplay. The crowd is all excited and ready to go. So let's get with it. They excited. They ready to go. So come on out here, y'all. Come on out of that locker room. Very exciting here in the WNBA, where we just shoot around with the word of God, up and down the court using the word of God. All right, somebody. Come on out of there. All right, there comes our First Lady. Good evening, First Lady. God bless you. That's my beautiful wife. We're about to get started with our questions. And we're starting in the book of John 8. John 8, we're going to look at a situation with a woman. And it was a situation, some of you have heard the story of what this woman had to go through. Ebony said, hey, First Lady. All right. So let's get started. Turn your Bibles to John chapter 8. And let's get ready to pull up our questions from John chapter 8. Ebony, First Lady said hello. So let's get ready for John chapter 8. Let's get ready to head down the court for John chapter 8. We got some basketball we getting ready to play here. So let's get ready to head down the court. And we're going to do some dunking and all kind of stuff, flying 360s. And most of all, these ladies like to shoot them 3-pointers from half court. And the crowd loves those 3-pointers. They love that long ball. So here comes our first question. First question says, a woman was brought to Jesus taken in the act of what? A, stealing. B, murder. C, adultery. D, blasphemy. What was this woman taken in the act of? And there goes our first lady, takes off down the court right away. She takes off down the court. She go between her leg behind her back, and she gets it stolen by the bishop. The bishop steals it and goes the other way. But here come cousin Shirley. She steals it back from him, and she goes the other way with adultery, and she passes it to Sister Ebony. Sister Ebony takes off down the court and passes it to the first lady. First lady go between her leg and behind her back, and she passes it back to Sister Ebony. Look at them sisters play ball. They say it is C, but Bishop is determined with A. He steals it and goes the other way, but Sister Ebony stole it right away, and she passes it to Sister Lisa Jones. Good evening, Lisa. God bless you. Good to see you this evening. Sister Lisa Jones goes the other way and passes it back to Sister Edmund. Sister Edmund go between her leg behind her back. And as she go down the court, she passes it between her legs, and she got it stolen. She tried too much, and the bishop steals it and goes the other way. Down the court, the bishop goes the other way. But here comes Sister Ebony, steals it back from the bishop. Down the court, she's going with the ball. Bishop is trying to catch her, but he can't catch her. And she passes it to cousin Shirley, who passes it back to Sister Ebony. Ebony and cousin Shirley going down the court. And is this a three-pointer here? Is that correct? That is correct. Way to shoot that long ball. Way to shoot that long ball. It is C, adultery. All right, let's get ready to head down the court with the next question. Next question says, according to the law, what was the punishment for this? What was the punishment for adultery according to the law? A, stoning. B, burning at the stake. C, being cast from the camp. Or D, divorce. What was the punishment? Who's going to take off down the court? First on here, that goes our first lady, says stone her. And she got it stolen by the bishop. The bishop said, no, burn her. But then here come the first lady, steals it right back and go between her leg behind her back, and she passes it to Sister Ebony. Ebony back to the first lady. And here comes Sister Glenzie. And she said, stone him. Good evening, Sister Glenzie. And she goes down the court showing off her talents. And she passes it back to Sister Ebony. Sister Ebony passes it back to Sister Glenzie. Down the court she goes, and she passes it to cousin Shirley. Cousin Shirley passes it to Sister Ebony. Ebony passes it back to Sister Glenzie. Down the court back to cousin Shirley, to Sister Glenzie, to Ebony. Down the court she goes back to Sister Glenzie. Sister Glenzie passes it to the first lady. Down the court, the first lady says slam it, and she passes it to Sister Glenzie. But here comes the bishop. He is determined. He stole it. But here comes Sister Nikhil. Sister Ebony steals it and goes the other way. She is determined to shoot that three-pointer. Is this correct? Is this correct with stoning? She said slam it. Is this correct with that stoning? Is this correct? Here come cousin Shirley. And that is correct. That is correct. Stone them. Way to shoot that long ball. Way to shoot that long ball. Let's get ready to head down the court with our next question. It said, who did Jesus say should cast the first stone? Who did Jesus say? A, the chief priest. B, the Pharisee. C, the elders. D, him without sin. Who's going to take off down the court first on this one here? And I come to Pastor in. He is a little late. We done been through that. Good evening, Pastor. Good to see you this evening. But here come the first lady, say, he that is without sin. Down the court she go with he that without sin. And she passes to the bishop, who passes to cousin Shirley. Cousin Shirley passed back to the first lady, and she passed it to Ebony. Sister Ebony passed it back to the pastor. Pastor go between the leg behind his back and passes Sister Glenzie, twirls around, and she passed it back to the pastor. Back to Sister Glenzie, who passed it to Sister Lisa Jones. Sister Lisa Jones takes off down the court. As she goes down the court, she spins around and passes it back to Sister Glenzie. Down the court, Sister Glenzie going back and forth with her and Sister Lisa Jones. Here come the pastor. Down the court, they go back and forth. Is this a three-pointer? As they go back and forth down the court with the pastor and first lady, pastor and Sister Glenzie. They going back and forth with D. Is that correct? As Sister Glenzie comes in, then here comes Sister Ebony. Sister Ebony God bless you. Sister Ebony comes in. She says she is determined, and she passes it to the pastor. The pastor passes it back to the bishop. Sister Ebony says, slam it. She said, without saying. She said, y'all slam it. Is this a slam? Can y'all slam it this time? Can y'all slam that ball? He that without saying, is this a slam? He that without saying, can y'all slam it this time? Is this a correct answer? That is correct. He that is without saying, way to slam that ball. Alley hoop, flying 360 slam. I didn't know y'all could do all of that. That's all right. Welcome to the WNBA. Let's get ready to head down the court with our next question. Next question said, what did Jesus tell the woman? What did Jesus tell the woman? He said, A, go and sin no more. B, I alone condemn you. C, you are a disgrace. D, you have gone too far to be forgotten. What did Jesus say to the woman? Who gonna take off down the court on this one here? And there goes the bishop. The first lady says, sin no more, and she passes it right away to the bishop. Back and forth, the first lady and the bishop go down the court, and they pass it to the pastor, back to the first lady, back to the pastor, who passes it to cousin Shirley. Cousin Shirley passes it back to the pastor, back to the first lady. Down the court, they going back and forth. And the bishop gets in there. Here comes Sister Ebony. Sin no more. Down the court, they going with sin no more. And here comes the pastor, who passes it to Sister Glenzie. Sister Glenzie goes between her leg, behind her back, and she shows off her skills. Sin no more. Down the court she goes with sin no more, and she passes it to the bishop. The bishop back to Sister Glenzie, who passes Sister Ebony. Sister Ebony takes off down the court and passes it back to Sister Glenzie with sin no more. Down the court, they're going with sin no more, and they pass it to Sister Lisa Jones. Sister Lisa Jones takes off down the court with sin no more. Is this a slam dunk with sin no more? Is this a slam dunk, or can y'all shoot that three ball? As they pass the ball down the court back to Sister Glenzie, who passes it to Sister Ebony to the bishop, back to Sister Ebony to the pastor. Is this correct with sin no more? That is correct. Go and sin no more. Way to slam it on that one there. Go and sin no more. All right, let's get ready to head down the court with the next question. Next question says, Jesus said, I am what? A beam of hope. B, the solid rock. C, the father of truth. D, the light of the world. What did Jesus say? Who's going to take off down the court on this one here? What did Jesus say? The bishop said, he said a beam of hope. Down the court, the bishop goes with a beam of hope. But then here come the first lady, said, no, my brother, it's D, the light of the world. Down the court, the first lady passes it to Sister Ebony. Back to the first lady, who passes it to cousin Shirley, the light of the world. She passes it back to the first lady, who passes it to the pastor. Pastor goes between the leg, behind it back, and passes it to Sister Ebony. Sister Ebony back to cousin Shirley, to the first lady, to the pastor. Down the court, they're going back and forth. But here come the bishop. He's determined to send a hope. But the pastor steals it right away from the bishop and goes the other way. And he passes it to Sister Lisa Jones. Sister Lisa Jones goes between her legs, behind her back, as they try to catch up. She passes it to Sister Ebony. Sister Ebony goes between her legs, behind her back, and passes it to the first lady. First lady passes it to the pastor. Pastor go between his legs, back to Sister Ebony. Down the court, Sister Ebony go. Can y'all shoot that long ball? And she passes it to the pastor. Can the pastor shoot that long ball? This is the WNBA. Can they shoot that long ball? That is correct. It is the light of the world. Way to shoot that flying 360 to that long ball. All right, let's get ready to head down the court with our next question. Next question saying, who did Jesus say bear witness of him? A, angels. B, the disciples. C, the Father, or the devil. Who did Jesus say bear witness of him? Who's going to take off down the court first on this one here? The crowd is all excited and they ready to go. And the bishop said angels. Down the court, the bishop goes with angels. But here come the first lady, steals it from the bishop, go between her legs, behind her back, with C, the father. Down the court, she going with the father, and she passes it to cousin Shirley. Cousin Shirley takes off down the court with C, the father. And she goes down the court. Can she take it all the way? And she passes it to Sister Glenzie. Sister Glenzie go between her legs behind her back. And she passes it to the pastor. Back to Sister Glenzie to the pastor. Back and forth. They go down the court between the pastor and Sister Glenzie. And they passes it to Sister Ebony, back to Sister Glenzie, to the pastor, back and forth as they passes it to Sister Lisa Jones. Sister Lisa Jones takes off down the court, passes to the pastor, back to Sister Glenzie. Sister Glenzie passes it back to the pastor, back and forth. They go down the court as they passes it to Sister Ebony. But the bishop is determined with angels. Here the bishop steals it and goes the other way. Can they catch the bishop? The bishop has stolen it, but here comes Sister Ebony, steals it back from the bishop and says, no, bishop, it's C, the father. It is the father that bears witness of him. And she is determined. She doubled between her leg behind her back and lost the ball to the bishop. She lost the ball to the bishop. The bishop goes back the other way. But here comes cousin Shirley, steals it from the bishop and passes it back to Sister Ebony. Can they hit this long ball? Can they hit this long ball? Here come the first lady back to cousin Shirley. Back to the first lady. But the bishop still trying to steal it. Back to the first lady, to the pastor, as they go down the court to cousin Shirley, to Sister Ebony. Can they hit this long ball? Has cousin Shirley come with the father? That is correct. It is the father. Way to shoot that long ball. Way to shoot that long ball. All right, let's get ready to head down the court. Too late, Bishop. They got that long ball. It was C. Down the court with our next question say, if you continue in Jesus' word, he shall know this and it will make you free. You shall know what and it'll make you free. A, wisdom. B, love. C, the truth. D, the law. Who gonna take off down the court first on this one here? Who gonna take off down the court? And there goes cousin Shirley takes off down the court with the father. Down the court, not the father, but here come, she said the truth. Down the court, she go with the truth, and she go down the court with the truth. The pastor and the first lady got with her with the truth. Down the court, she go with the truth. Back and forth, they go with the truth. But the bishop is still determined with wisdom. But here come the first lady, steals it from the bishop, passes it to the pastor. Down the court, the pastor passes it to Sister Lisa Jones. Sister Lisa Jones go between her leg behind her back, pass to the pastor. The pastor go behind his back as he head down the court and passes to Sister Glenzie. Sister Glenzie go between her legs and they says, slow down. Yeah, y'all got me moving fast. As the Sister Glenzie pass it to the pastor, back to Sister Glenzie, to the first lady, to Sister Glenzie, to cousin Shirley. Down the court, they're going. Man, Here comes Sister Ebony said the law. She steals it and goes the other way with the law, D, the law. But here come the preacher. The pastor steals it from her and said, no, it is the truth. The truth shall make you free. Down the court, he goes to the truth. And then Sister Ebony said, now she think it's something else. And she goes back to written true law. But then here come cousin Shirley, steals it and passes it to the first lady. Down the court, the first lady passes it to the pastor. Back and forth, they going down the court, and the pastor is determined as he passes it to cousin Shirley back to the first lady. Oh, you changing it to true. Okay, to the truth. Okay, from the law to the truth. There you go. There you go. All right, it is the truth. They said slam it. All right, is it the truth as the pastor comes in? That is correct. It is the truth. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free, will make you free. All right, way to shoot that 3-ball on that one there. All right, let's get ready to head down the court on our next question. Next question says, whoever commits sin is what? A, fearful. B, without hope. C, deserving of sin. D, without blame. Whosoever commits sin is what? fearful, without hope, deserving of sin, without blame. Who gonna take off down the court on this one? That go the first lady, said the servant of sin. The servant of sin. Down the court, she go with servant of sin, and she go between her leg behind her back. She's going. Is she gonna take it all the way by herself with servant of sin? And she speeds down that court. Look at her go down that court with servant of sin. And she passes it to the pastor. The pastor go behind his back with servant of sin. Down the court with servant, with truth, the servant of sin. Man, whosoever commits sin is the servant of sin, and the pastor takes off down the court with servant of sin. Is this correct? As he takes off down the court, him and the first lady going at it back and forth with servant of sin. Anybody see anything different as the pastor and the first lady go down the court with servant of sin? Does somebody see? So whoever commits sin is what? Is they gonna have to slam this one by themselves between the pastor and the first lady? And here comes Sister Lisa Jones. She said servant of sin. Down the court, Sister Lisa Jones goes with servant of sin. They trying to catch her. She goes between defenders. She spins around. They can't catch her. They're trying to catch her. They're trying to take the ball. Is this correct with servant of sin? That is correct. Way to slam it on that one there. She slammed it. Servant of sin. Flying 360 slam on that one there. All right, let's get ready to head down the court with the next question. Next question said he was a murderer from the beginning. A, Judas. B, Abraham. C, Adam. D, the devil. Who's going to take off down the court first on this one here? He was a murderer from the beginning. Who's going to take off down the court on this one here? He was a murderer from the beginning. Who is they talking about? Judas, Abraham, Adam, or the devil. Who's going to take off down the court on this one here? And there go cousin Shirley. She takes off down the court with devil. She spins and goes between defenders and passes it to Sister Lisa Jones. Sister Lisa Jones spins and passes to the pastor. The pastor passes it to Sister Glenzie. Back to the pastor to Sister Glenzie. Sister Glenzie go between her legs, spins around and spins, and she's handling that ball. Look at her handling the ball. She has the crowd all excited as she spins around and go between defenders. She is heading down that court. Can she slam it on her own? And she passes it to Sister Alice. Good evening, Sister Alice Cummins. God bless you. Welcome to the WNBA. Sister Alice spins around showing off her skills as she takes off down the court. Can she slam it, or does she need to pass it to somebody to shoot that long ball? She's taking off down the court on her own. Is this a slam with this here? The devil. Is this a slam? She doubles back, and that is correct. It is the devil. Way to slam it on that one now. Flying 360 slam. All right, let's get ready to head down the court with our next question. Next question says, they would have done this to Jesus, but he hid himself. What was they trying to do to Jesus? And he hid himself. A, they were trying to praise him. B, stone him. C, make him king. D, serve him. What was they trying to do to Jesus? And he hid himself. And the first lady took off down the court and said they was trying to stone him. Down the court, she goes with stone, and she passes it to the pastor. Down the court, the pastor and the first lady goes with stone him. Down the court, they go with stone as they pass to cousin Shirley. Back to the pastor with stone him. Down the court, the pastor goes with stone him. Is this a slam dunk, or is this a flying 360 long ball? And Sister Glenzie gets the ball, and she takes off down the court, and she passes it to Sister Alice. Back to Sister Glenzie. Sister Glenzie passes it to the pastor. Down the court, the pastor passes it back to Sister Glenzie. Sister Glenzie go behind her back, between her leg, and passes it to Sister Alice. Showing off her skills, Sister Alice spins around and takes off down the court. And she passes it to Sister Ebony. Sister Ebony spins around and passes it back to Sister Alice. Down the court, Sister Alice takes off down that court. Look at her go. And she going down that court. Can she shoot that long ball? Can Sister Alice shoot that long ball? Is this correct? But no, First Lady says slam it, and she passes it to cousin Shirley. Can cousin Shirley slam that ball? Is it correct with stone them? Down the court, she said slam it. And she passed it back to Sister Alice. Sister Alice, they said slam it. Can she slam that ball? That is correct. Way to slam that ball. Alley hoop flying 360 slam. Way to slam that ball. All right. That brings our first half to an end. Y'all get y'all a quick water break and whatever you got to do as we get ready to start our second half of this WNBA. I'm going to get me a quick drink of water too. Man, y'all been going at it. Y'all are going at it. Get ready to start our second half, so take you a quick break as we get ready to start our second half. Man, y'all are going at it. It's exciting, and y'all got the crowd all in it too. So next, I think we're going to be going over here to Leviticus chapter 20. Yes, the Leviticus chapter 20. So we're going to the Old Testament, Leviticus chapter 20. Here we dealt with adultery. And so we're going to go into Leviticus chapter 20 and deal with adultery. All right, let's get ready to head to the Old Testament. Y'all get y'all water or whatever you got to drink. We're going into Leviticus chapter 20 for our second half. So get ready to come on out on that court. Time to get out of that locker room. Get your quick water, your quick drink, and whatever you got to do, refresh yourself as we get ready to head down this court for this second half. All right, let's get ready to take off here for our second half. We're in Leviticus chapter 20. So here comes our questions for Leviticus chapter 20. Our first question says, God strictly forbids the Israelites to offer their seed to this God. What God is he talking about? A, Dagon. B, Baal. C, Dinah. D, Molech. What God did he forbid them to offer their children to? We're going to take off down the court. The crowd is all excited. And there goes First Lady goes with Molech. Down the court, our First Lady goes with Molech. I know what you're trying to say, and she passes it to Cousin Shirley, back to the First Lady, to Sister Glenza. Down the court they go. And there comes the pastor. The pastor go between the leg by and back to Sister Glenza. Down the court they're going back and forth with Molech. Is this correct? As they go back and forth down the court, they passes it to Sister Alice. Down the court, Sister Alice takes off down the court between her leg behind her back to Sister Glenza, who passes it to Sister Ebony, back to Sister Alice. Sister Alice passes it back to Sister Ebony. Sister Ebony goes out and between her legs, spins around and passes it back to Sister Alice. They are showing off their skills today. Sister Alice spins around and takes off down the court at a fast pace. Look at her handling that ball as a fast pace. As she handling that ball, she passes it to the pastor, who passes it to Sister Ebony, back to the pastor. Back to forth they go, and they passes it to Sister Alice, back to Sister Ebony, back to Sister Alice. And here come Pastor James. Pastor Alvarez James. Here come Pastor James. Here come Pastor James in, and he said, Molech. Down the court, Pastor James, good evening. Welcome to the WNBA. He can play that WNBA from Pakistan. Pakistan said Molech. He passes it to Sister Alice, back to Sister Ebony, to Sister Alice. Sister Ebony says slam it. Sister Alice spins around, pad back to Sister Ebony, to the pastor. Back and forth, they go down the court. Sister Alice and the pastor going back and forth. As they speed down the court, they passes it to Sister Ebony. Back to Sister Ebony, back to Sister Alice. Down the court, they go to the pastor, back to Sister Alice. Look at them speed down the court. And can they shoot that three ball with Molech? Is this correct? Sister Alice spins around and shoot that three ball, and that is correct. It is Molech. Way to shoot that three ball on that one there from half court. All right, let's get ready to head down the court with our next question. Next question say, anyone caught doing so is to be what? He be A, in prison, B, stone. C, rebuke. D, excommunicated. Who gonna take off down the court on this one here? What shall be done to any person caught giving a children to molest? Imprisoned, stoned, rebuked, excommunicated. Who gonna take off down the court on this one? And that goes out. Sister Glenn's that said stone, and the pastor said stone. Man, they speeding down the court with stone. Sister Glenn's and the pastor said stone as they passed to the first lady. Sister Alice said stone. Back and forth, they going with stone. Sister Alice to the first lady. And here comes Sister Lisa Jones as she spins around and takes off down the court. She passes it to the first lady. Back to Sister Glenn's. Sister Glenn's takes off down the court as she speeds down the court. She passes it to Sister Edmond, to Cousin Shirley. Cousin Shirley passes it to the first lady down the court to Sister Ebony, to Sister Lisa Jones, to the first lady, to Sister Glenzie, to Sister Ebony, back to Cousin Shirley, to the first lady, to Sister Glenzie. They're spinning around going to the pastor, until the pastor passes to Sister Alice. Sister Alice shows off her skills and passes it to Sister Ebony, back to Sister Alice. Sister Alice and Sister Ebony are going back and forth as they pass it to the pastor. They're going back and forth as they pass it back and forth. With B with stone. Taking off down the court, the pastor passes to Sister Ebony, back to Sister Alice. As they take off down the court, can they shoot that long ball with stone? Sister Ebony passes it, and she catches it and passes it back to Sister Alice, back to Sister Ebony. Is that correct with stone? That is correct. She shot that long ball on that one. Stone is correct. Way to shoot that long ball on that one. All right, let's get ready to head down the court with our next question. Next question said, God will set his face against them that follow after what? Follow after A, truth. B, righteousness. C, wisdom. D, wizards. Who gonna take off down the court first on this one here? God will set his face against those that what? Truth, righteousness, wisdom, or wizard. Who gonna take off down the court? The crowd is all excited. Who gonna take off down the court first on this one here? Who gonna take off down the court? The crowd is excited as they looking at the team. They can't decide what they gonna do. The team is trying to decide. No one has stepped out on the court. The seconds are ticking. Is the referee gonna call them? But here comes Sister Glenzie. She stepped out on the court and she said, wizards. Down the court, she passes it to the first lady, back to Sister Glenzie with wizards. As they go back and forth down the court between the first lady and Sister Glenzie with wizards. They pass it to Cousin Shirley. Cousin Shirley takes off down the court with wizards. Down the court they go with wizards. Is this a three-pointer with wizards? Are we all in agreement? The rest of the team is still on the bench. The rest of the team. And here comes Sister Alice comes. She comes off the bench and passes it back to Sister Glenzie. Sister Glenzie goes between her legs. She passes it to Sister Lisa Jones. Sister Lisa Jones spins around and passes it to Sister Alice, back to the pastor. Here comes the pastor down the court, and he passes to the first lady, back to the pastor, who passes to Sister Alice, back to the pastor, who passes it to Sister Ebony. Down the court, Sister Ebony passes it to Sister Alice. Down the court, Sister Alice goes and she passes it to Cousin Shirley. Down the court, Cousin Shirley goes and she passes it back to Sister Alice. Sister Alice spins and passes it to Sister Ebony. Sister Ebony spins around and passes it back to Sister Alice. Is this correct with wizard? That is correct. It is wizards. Way to shoot that long ball on that one there. All right, let's get ready to head down the court with our next question. Next question said, God said, sanctify yourself therefore and be this, for I am the Lord your God. Sanctify yourself and be what? A, wise. B, lovely. C, holy. D, careful. Who's going to take off down the court on this one here? Sanctify yourself and said the Lord, for I am the Lord your God. Sanctify yourself and be what? Who's going to take off down the court? They're still studying. And here comes Sister Glenzie. She said holy. Down the court, Sister Glenzie go between her legs and spins around, and she passes it to Sister Ebony. So the Ebony passes to the pastor. Down the court, the pastor spins, and he passes it back to Sister Glenzie, who passes it to Sister Ebony. Sister Ebony passes it back to the pastor, who passes to Sister Lisa Jones. Sister Lisa Jones spins down the court. She go between her legs and passes it to the First Lady. First Lady passes it to Sister Ebony, back to the First Lady, who passes it to Cousin Shirley. Cousin Shirley spins around and passes it back to Sister Ebony. Down the court she goes with her Holy. Can we get a slam dunk on this Holy? As she go between her legs. She's going between her leg and spinning around. She passes it to Sister Glenzie Common. Sister Glenzie Common spins around and passes it back to Sister Ebony. Down the court, Sister Ebony goes with the ball as she spins around. Can she slam that ball as the seconds are ticking on the clock? Is this a slam dunk with Holy? Is this a slam dunk with Holy? Is that correct? That is correct. Way to slam it on that one now. Way to slam it. Flying 360 slam. All right, let's get ready to head down the court with our next question. Next question say, anyone that curses thee shall be put to death. Anyone that curses A, devils, B, his parents, C, angels, D, his enemies. Who gonna take off down the court first on this one here? Anyone that curses thee, devils, parents, angels, are his enemies. Who gonna take off down the court? And there goes our First Lady saying, your parents. Down the court, she go with parents. She spins around and go between her legs, showing off her skills, and she passes to Sister Glenzie. Sister Glenzie passes it back to the First Lady, back to Sister Glenzie, who passes it to Sister Ebony. Sister Ebony passes it to the pastor, who passes it to Cousin Shirley, back to Sister Glenzie, who passes it to Sister Lisa Jones. Sister Lisa Jones spins around and passes it to the pastor, back to Sister Glenzie, who passes it to Sister Ebony, back to Sister Glenzie, who passes it to the pastor. Pastor passes it back to Sister Glenzie, back to the pastor, who passes it to Sister Ebony. Down the court she goes, back and forth between the pastor and Sister Glenzie and Sister Ebony and the pastor. They all going back and forth down the court. Look at them go down that court, back and forth between the pastor and Sister Glenzie and Sister Ebony. Down the court, they going down that court between the pastor and Sister Glenzie and Sister Ebony. They're going down that court with his parents. Is that correct? That is correct. Way to shoot that long ball there. Don't curse your parents. All right. Way to shoot that long ball. They said don't curse your parents. All right. Let's get ready to head down the court with the next question. Next question say, if a man commits adultery with his neighbor's wife, A, he should be put to death. B, she should be put to death. C, both should be put to death. Or D, they both must offer a sin offering. Who's going to take off down the court? Who should be put to death? Him, her, both of them. Bring a sin offering. We're going to take off down the court. You said put to death, but you got to be specific on put to death. First Lady, you got to be more specific on who put to death. Got to be more specific on that one. That Sister Glenzie said they both. Sister Glenzie takes off down the court with them both, and she passes it to Cousin Shirley with both put to death. It ain't just death. It's got to be both. And they pass it to Sister Ebony, back to Sister Glenzie, who First Lady got with them this time with both of them. Down the court, she passes it to the pastor. The pastor spins around and passes it back to Sister Glenzie with both of them. Down the court, he passes it to Cousin Shirley. Back to the First Lady, to Sister Glenzie. As she spins around, she passes it to Sister Ebony. Down the court, Sister Ebony spins around, showing off her skills with both of them will be put to death. Down the court with both of them be put to death. As they spin and go around, heads down the court with both of them. Down the court they go with both of them. Is this a slam dunk? Are we all in agreement? Is it one of them? Both of them bring an offering. Down the court, she says both, and she passes it to Sister Glenzie Coming, who said it is both. Is this correct with both? That is correct. Both of them shall be put to death. Way to slam it on that one there. You see, when we was in John chapter 8, they didn't bring both of them. Who did they bring? They didn't bring but one of them, the woman. But the true law, they weren't even going by the law. of themselves, because the law in Moses' time said both of them. They only brought one of them, so they weren't even right on that. All right, let's get ready to head down the court on this next question. Here comes our next question. Says, for a man to lie with another man, it is what? A, acceptable. B, to be done in secret. C, an abomination. Or D, uncommon. And I ain't talking about in our time. In our day and time, this answer might be a little different, but that ain't gonna make it right. Is it right for a man to lie? It is what? Acceptable. Done in secret. Abomination. Uncommon. Man, some of them answers, man, what we gonna say about that? What we gonna say about that one now? And that goes our sister Glenzie, who takes off down the court, and she goes down the court with abomination. Down the court, sister Glenzie go with abomination. She passes it to the first lady. Down the court, the first lady passes it to the pastor. Down the court she goes, and she passes to the pastor. That back and forth they go down the court between the pastor and first lady, and they passes it to sister Lisa Jones. So Lisa Jones says it's an abomination, and she passes it back to the pastor, who passes it to the first lady, back to the pastor, who passed to sister Glenzie. It is abomination. She spins back to the first lady, back to sister Glenzie, back to the pastor, sister Glenzie. The pastor goes on, takes off down the court, showing off his skills between sister Glenzie and the pastor, and they passes it to sister Ebony. Sister Ebony passed it back to sister Glenzie, back to sister Ebony, who passed it cousin Shirley down the court. Is that correct? Looks like this is another slam dunk with an abomination. Is this another slam dunk with abomination as the seconds tick on the clock? Is this a slam dunk? That is correct. It is abomination with a slam. And they slammed it with an attitude. Way to slam it. All right. It is an abomination. All right, let's get ready to take off down the court with our next question. Said the Israelites are instructed to follow these statutes so the land would what? A, be bountiful. B, preserve them. C, not spew them out. Or D, prosper. They had to observe this for what reason? Be bountiful, preserve them, not spew them out, or that they may prosper. Who's going to take off down the court first on this one here? Who's going to take off down the court? They had to obey these statutes so that what? So that a land wouldn't do what to them? Be bountiful, preserve them. And that goes our first lady says so the land wouldn't spew them out. Down the court, she's going with so the land would spew them out. She goes between her leg behind her back, and she shows off her skills. But here come cousin Shirley says so that they would prosper. Down the court, cousin Shirley go with prosper, but then here come the first lady, steals it back from her. They're going back and forth. Back and forth they going between each other, and the first lady spins around and passes it to the pastor. The pastor takes off. He goes the other way. The pastor goes the other way with prosper. And here come the first lady, steals it back from the pastor and says, no, spew them out. She doubles back between her legs, going between defenders. She is determined to go with not spew them out. Is somebody going to help her out? They're coming at her. She's going between defenders, spinning around. Is somebody going to help the first lady out? And here comes Sister Ebony helps the first lady out. And she passes it back between the first lady and Sister Ebony. Sister Ebony and the first lady are going back and forth as they go down the court. They're helping each other out. And here come the pastor. He get with them. The pastor has changed to spew them out. The pastor is helping them out. Down the court would spew them out. The pastor has changed. Is this a slam dunk with not spew them out? The first lady said, don't it? And she is determined. That is correct. Not spew them out. Man, the first lady had not spew them out. All right, Sister Glenzie coming in there at the last second. All right, not spew them out. Way to slam it on that one. It got a little shaky for a while, but we got it. All right, let's get ready to head down the court with our next question. Next question said, God said they would inherit a land that flowed with what? A, vanilla. B, blood. C, many waters. Or D, milk and honey. Who's going to take off down the court first on this? They're going to inherit a land flowing with what? Vanilla, blood, water, milk and honey. Who gonna take off down the court? And there goes our first lady with milk and honey. Down the court, she go with milk and honey. She go between her legs and she pass it to Sister Glenzie. Sister Glenzie and the first lady are going down the court with milk and honey. Down the court they go with milk and honey and they passes it to Sister Ebony. Back to the first lady to Sister Glenzie, who passes it to the pastor. Back to Sister Glenzie with milk and honey. She spins around and passes it to Sister Lisa Jones. Down the court, Sister Lisa Jones go with milk and honey. She takes off down the court with milk and honey. She passes it to Cousin Shirley, back to Sister Glenzie, and down to the first lady to Sister Ebony, back to Sister Glenzie. Back and forth, they going down the court as they pass it to the pastor. Down the court, the pastor double between his legs, behind his back. He is determined with milk and honey. Down the court, the pastor go with milk and honey as he passes it to Sister Ebony. Sister Ebony said milk and honey. Is this or can she shoot that long ball with milk and honey? Is this a correct answer? Is the second tick on the clock? Is this correct? That is correct. Milk and honey. Way to shoot that long ball on that one there. All right, let's get ready to head down the court with our next question. Next question says, God said to separate these what? What did God say for us to separate? A, the wheat and the tare. B, the sheep and the goats. C, the clean and the unclean. D, the rich and the poor. What did God say separate here in Leviticus 20? Who's going to take off down the court on this? What did he say? Separate wheat and tare, sheep and goats, clean and unclean, rich and poor. Who did God say separate? That goes our first lady, takes off down the court with clean and unclean. Down the court, she said it is clean and unclean. As she takes off down the court, she takes off down the court and with clean and unclean. And as she takes off down the court, she passes it to Cousin Shirley. Back to Sister Glenzie, to the pastor. The pastor spins around and passes to Sister Ebony. Back to the pastor as he spins between his leg, behind his back, and he passes it back to the first lady, back to the pastor. They going back and forth as they pass it to Cousin Shirley. Compare to pass it Sister Glenzie, who passes it to the first lady. Down the court, she passes it to the pastor, back to Sister Glenzie. Sister Glenzie comes in for the slam. Can she slam this ball with seed, clean and unclean? Way to slam it on that one there with clean and unclean. Flying 360 slam on that one there with clean and unclean. Let's get ready to head down the court with our next question. That brings our game to an end. All right, that ends our second half. All right, that's the end of our game. And we like to thank you all. I don't know where my picture is at. We like to thank you all for coming out and being a part of this. My picture done moved somewhere. I don't know where it is. Let me see if I can find where my picture is at. I don't know where it's at. Oh, the camera went out for a second. I don't know what happened to our camera. Our camera went out for a second. There we go. Here comes our camera back. All right, let me get that camera back. I don't know why it keep popping away on us. All right, come on, camera lens. What's going on with you? Jumping back and forth, maybe a kind of shortage or something. All right. But we like to thank you all. Thank you all for being a part of this Bible basketball, coming out and being a part of this. I get rid of that camera. I can bring in another camera. All right, I'll bring in another camera since that camera want to act up on us. All right. All right. So thank you all. Thank you all for coming out and being a part of this. Sorry about the camera, the technical thing going on at the end, but we like to thank you all for coming out and being a part of this. Thank you, Sister Glenzie. God bless you, my sister. Good game, sisters and brothers. Pastor White, great game. Thank you for coming out and being a part of this. First Lady, my beautiful wife, thank you for coming and being a part of this. Sister Lisa Jones, God bless you. My sister, thank you for coming out and being a part of this. Sister Ebony, God bless you. My sister, thank you for coming out, being a part. My cousin Shirley, God bless you. Thank you for coming out, being a part. Everyone be blessed. Have a good evening. Now, Bishop was with us earlier, and we thank the Bishop for coming out and being with us earlier. He getting ready to have his Bible class. So we thank the Bishop for coming out and tuning in with us. We thank Sister Alice Cummins. She was out here with us. We thank Sister Glenzie Cummins and Sister Alice Cummins for stopping by and being with us. And if I miss anybody, charge it to my eyes and not my heart. Thank you all for stopping by and being with us tonight. Y'all have a blessed night. Amen. Thank you. Thank you. That God bless you. Remember to trust the process and seek to keep God first no matter what you go through. Trust the process. You're going to go through some things in life. You're going to find yourself going through some struggles. And next week, we won't be having Bible basketball. Next week, I'm going to take a week off because I'm getting ready to head back into the pulpit. So I'm going to take a week off to gather myself, uh, be ready to head back in the pulpit on Palm Sunday. So we will not have Bible basketball next weekend as I prepare to head back into the pulpit. So thank you all. Thank you all for coming out. No Bible basketball next weekend. All right. Remember, trust the process and keep God first.